when he was a majority leader of the House. Don't let me go too far. Let me introduce our guest for this afternoon on Inside the Parliament, talking about Honorable Ben Igbakpa. You're welcome to the program. He is of Delta State and a member of Nigeria's House of Representatives.
Thank you.
I just said a while ago, the House wants to ensure that victims of the xenophobia in South Africa get compensation. And we know that a lot of Nigerians lost even every source of livelihood that they had in some of those attacks. Now, how is the House going to ensure that?
Well, thank you very much. First, we all know the responsibility of the legislature. Ours is to make laws, do oversight, and oversight ensures implementation. And that we have kickstarted. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker was very elaborate in all that we had to do coming back from our recess. And this xenophobic attack happened to be one of them. And we kickstarted today by honoring a man who has so far distinguished himself as a true Nigerian, a pan-Nigerian, a businessman who forgo his business and decided to do that for humanity and the country, Barrister Onyema. He was in the chambers today.
As the owner of Air Peace that has been lifting Nigerians back from South Africa.
That we have done, and a motion was passionately passed, appealing to the federal government to honor him with a national award, a national honor, which I know will be done. Mr. Speaker will ensure that is done. Secondly, on the issue of the compensation, it's the South African envoy that came to apologize to Nigeria rightly said it, that is something that they have to discuss. It's not just...
but he didn't commit to anything at all.
He can't commit to anything. He's a messenger. It's like when Mr. President sent an envoy to South Africa, he's only going there to say what you are told to do. There's a defined assignment. So he's here to apologize to Nigerians and to apologize to Mr. President and to want to seek that brotherly help. But looking at what has happened, especially with the lifting, evacuation of Nigeria from South Africa, the economy is beginning to feel the heat. So I think the best thing for them to do is to compensate those that have lost. Yes, our people say you cannot, no matter what, if there's a pit and you want to replace it with the sand and left that same pit, there's no way you can fill it up. There's no way they can be compensated equitably with what they have lost. But it should be a mark of honor. It should be a mark of respect that they have done something that is not right, and Nigeria and Nigerians demand and deserve compensation.
And maybe to give them a fresh start too.
Yes, it has to, but I wonder if this set of people that I just come back will want to go back to South Africa again, because once beaten, twice shy.
I wouldn't want to deviate from the legislative aspect of this discussion, but people have said that what is more important is to look at the reasons why Nigerians keep leaving the shores of this country, in spite of the fact that they know they may be maltreated wherever, in the countries or places where they are going to. But something makes them to leave, and people say it's because of the inconducive economic environment. What is the House going to do about this too? Because if you do not treat the source of the problem, have you really achieved anything? Yeah,
first, there's no country that is an island. No country can do it all alone. Countries must interact. Countries must do business together. Nigerians, yes, Nigerians are out there. Their people are here in Nigeria. Their business are thriving in Nigeria. But the truth is this. We need to look inwards as key stakeholders of the Nigerian state. Because I asked a question today in plenary that where have we got it all wrong? If back home in Nigeria we are being killed, nobody is sure of where the next meal is going to come from. Nobody is sure of your security if you go back to bed, whether the entire family of 5 that go to bed at night will come out in the morning as 5, if somebody is not taken away before the next day. So, and our people will now say, okay, let's go for greener pastures. Yes, we're having some problems back home, but it's now a global problem. It's not limited to Nigeria. And the present government, I believe, they are doing a lot. But it's just that, I said it today too, that we cannot continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. The security situation in Nigeria, the economic situation in Nigeria is not really what we dream of as the Nigeria of our dream.
But the legislature has a strong role to play
yes,
in all of this.
like,
We've been talking about proper legislation.
Yes.
I particularly like what the speaker said yesterday about ensuring that every Nigerian child, whether from a poor or rich home, gets quality education.
Yes.
Because you find that it has got to a stage where some children can't even go to schools and find chairs. They sit on the floor. They can hardly afford slates to learn with. You know what we call slates? I wrote on slate too.
I wrote on slate too.
You know, the level of education for those who cannot afford the extra special schools is very, very poor. Now you have come up with this. I hope that the National Assembly begins to look at proper legislation like this one, and I hope that the House will expedite action on this particular one.
Let me tell you one thing.
It's not profit-oriented, though. This is for the poor now.
In Nigeria, the issue is actually not about our laws, not about the legislation. It's about the implementation. We cannot say that we don't have enough on ground. We have the Universal Basic Education laws that is there. We have the Child Rights Act, which are there. How well have we implemented them? So as a member of
domesticating it?
Yes, domesticating it, yes.
Some states have not.
I was a member of the Delta State House of Assembly with domesticated
I know Bayelsa domesticated, yes. But so, some states still have not.
Still have not. So we really have to talk about the implementation for us as legislators. We will do our bit. Our bit is to speak. Our bit is to tell the people. Our bit is to tell them, look, we have done our own. It is left for the executive to do their own. So I think most of these things should be pushed to the executive. There must be a deliberate action. There must be a proper, well-thought-out, deliberate action on how to go about education in Nigeria. I think if we declare that emergency, it's not just enough to speak from both sides of the mouth to say we are declaring an emergency. You must put the infrastructures on ground. You must put the structures on ground. You must put the people, and the funding must be there. But without those ones, then we'll continue to travel abroad and face it. It's not just in South Africa. Nigerians are being marginalized everywhere. The green passport is a red flag anywhere in this world. And we are better off. If China that is mountainous in their area, they are able to start, they are sufficient in terms of food, and they now export. What about Netherlands? Netherlands is water everywhere. They are doing well, they are exporting. What happened to the people that came here to pick our palm kernel? Where have we got it wrong as a nation? I think we need to go back to our roots and start tracing our step back to where we started from, where we got it wrong, and take it there so that we can do it. For the legislature, we are doing well. The National Assembly, they are doing their bit because their own is to speak, and we are speaking. A lot
of people believe that when it comes to proper bills, you have not done well at all, because a lot of them are left unattended to. Thank God we're getting this one right. They also want, in terms of health care, they want in terms of particularly child and maternal health,
yes.
Because the mortality rate has become high. So there are a whole lot of areas that the legislature still needs to look at.
I think one thing I'll still say here, it is that aspect of devolution of powers. I believe the center is too heavy. A lot is in the center that need to be devolved. They need to give it out. They need to. The weight on the center is too much. I don't see any reason why the federal government or the center in the exclusive list is still holding on to health. I don't see why they should be holding on to education. Leave it for the states to handle.
But
the roads today, look at Delta State. I'm from Delta State. For the past 2 weeks, we've not been able to pass the Warri Road.
How the
My state governor is doing it now.
Okay, are you aware of how the National Assembly voted in the last amendment to the Constitution when it came to devolution of powers and some of these key areas that you just mentioned?
Yeah.
You know that the National Assembly did not vote in favor of it. So long as you lawmakers are still holding the nation, how much progress are needed? Because if you do not amend the Constitution in that regard,
yes,
then how do we achieve it? And you lawmakers voted
I quite agree
against
with you.
it.
This is the 9th Assembly.
Okay.
The 8th Assembly did their own. We are here. We are in the 9th Assembly. And I'm very sure with the leadership that we have, things are going to see we're going to see a new ground, and things are going to move in the country.
Well, let's look at the issue of the PIB, the very controversial, much expected PIB. I recall that the 6th Assembly tried, the 4th Assembly, 5th Assembly, and they couldn't pass this particular bill. The 7th Assembly got to the very last stage, was able to pass it in the House of Representatives, but it never saw the light of day. The 8th Assembly tried. Now we're in the 9th Assembly. The House is telling us right now that it's going to be a priority area. Are you set for this, and how are you going to achieve this, considering that other assemblies have tried? Are you going to look to remove the controversial clauses? How are you going to get about this?
Yes, remember there are some, I have listened to explanation as regard the bill and what transpired in the last assembly. One, there are areas that seem to empower certain persons to do much.
The minister?
The minister doing too much and handling too much. It's a national issue. It shouldn't be to one office and the person doing so much. We are going to deal with, like the speaker said,
we are going to power from the minister.
From the minister, so that the certain funds that are supposed to go to certain areas, which if you give that funding to somebody, in short, that person will be richer, or that organization will be richer than the entire country.
And what about the aspect of the host community that has always been
yes.
the bane of this
yes,
bill?
the host community. I'm from an oil producing community. My village proper is housing an oil company has been housing an oil company for the past 47 years. So those are areas we need to look at. We see why it is not going through. Mr. Speaker is going to lead and we'll follow. He has shown that leadership. He has assured us that this is what we're going to do. So it's for all of us to follow him, and we get it on.
All right. You also know that apart from the host communities, there's another group that is laying demand to being compensated. And this is the group that house the pipelines.
We call them impacted community.
Exactly.
Yes.
They also believe that they need to be compensated like the host communities. Well, are you going to concede to that? How are you going to get past that hurdle? If
you are going to take impacted communities along, I feel it's going to be too heavy. It's going to be too cumbersome, because instead, the government should think about compensating them for their land once off, and the pipe passes. But for there are communities where this oil is being exploited and extracted. These companies are suffering. Some areas, gas flaring is still on, and you see the people suffering. There's no land for farming again. Talk about the riverine areas. You talk about pollution, the aquatic life effect.
But do you also realize that these people also pass through certain damages to their lands because of the facilities that are being used?
That is why the government should pay them for their land. The government should be able to compensate them for their land. The state government owns the land, the whole land in trust. I think they can be compensated, but bringing them in as a critical partner, I don't think that is fair.
All right, the case of arbitrary billing of electricity consumers is another area that you want to concentrate on. Now, when you talk
about...
Not
arbitrary, it's estimated.
Estimated billing, that's arbitrary estimation.
Yes, it's estimated.
It's at their own discretion.
Yes, if there's a meter and it's even done that way, one will have something to look up to us, okay, this is where you are cheating me. But this one, there's no meter. You pay for meter and they don't even look at the meter at times, they just sit in their office. And that is one. Then two, I have that one. It's a bill that it has gone through the first reading, waiting the second reading is my bill. A situation where community, village, peasant farmers contribute money to buy transformer or to fix transformer, and the moment you fix it, there's a provision in the Electricity Regulation Act that says that whatever you put in the grill belongs to the discos, and that is unacceptable. Discos belong to private individuals. Everybody
and they are making profit.
Yeah. I don't see why the community, why the people, why the public should be the one to help them to fix their equipment. So I am bringing that up.
And in some other places, is the community. Even here in Abuja, I recall one area where we were living in, we all had to contribute money to buy a transformer.
And the moment you buy it, they will not compensate you. They will now take it. The next day you see bill coming to you. So I am bringing that amendment in so that if we pay, we will now give us energy credit for whatever we have paid for.
Okay, so it won't be a matter of buying and dashing.
No, 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 no. It is wrong.
You get compensated,
yes, you get compensation
or your money
for
paid
yes,
back.
Whatever you pay, no, your money they cannot pay you back. I know they will not agree to pay you back, but they should give us energy credit in return. Well, until I exhaust what I put into your equipment, I won't pay bills.
All right, the one of the arbitrary billing, how are you going to handle that? Because you find that the whole transmission and distribution of electricity is like the system is not well spelled out. Are you going to redefine the law guiding the transmission, the distribution of electricity supply?
Yeah, well, I don't think it is that cumbersome. What the bill is intended, I think it's Mr. Speaker's bill, if you don't have a meter, a property that is not metered will never pay bill. And if you bring any bill for an unmetered property, it is a criminal offense. Because the moment you don't pay, they go and they remove your supply. And,
so, and you're going to back everything by law?
By law, yes. That is what we're trying to do.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on Inside the Parliament. Honorable Ben Igbakpa, Delta State. I keep forgetting your constituency. I will get you straight. Ethiopia Federal Constituency, yes. Delta State. And that's how it's going to be on Inside the Parliament. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday at 3:30 for a fresh edition of the program. My name is Uju Ejeye. Thanks for staying with us. And, of course, we expect you to join us again next week.